Thank you very much for staying with us on Daily Politics. And now we take on the next conversation. The PDP NEC, the 100 NEC meeting, which was held today amid tight security and other concerns. And here in the studio, I have a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, Umar Sani, popularly known as the Cat. Thank you for joining the conversation.
How are you?
Right, fine. I know it's been a very long day for you.
Yes.
Yeah, battling with security operatives, the tear gas canisters and all of that.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me get your impression about today's meeting. Was it inspiring? Because there has been a lot of expectation as to what would be the outcome.
Well, the meeting itself is not only, rancorous and uninspiring, it is also illegal.
Okay.
Because if you remember the last time I was with you,
Right.
in our discussion, I told you that there will be a NEC meeting.
Yes.
Because only the NEC can set aside a NEC meeting.
Yes.
They have already put a date, and there must be a meeting today.
Right.
And my opponent said there will not be a meeting. And there is a meeting. NEC meeting today.
Yes.
Now, when they came into the meeting, they said it's a one-point agenda.
Yes.
And that agenda is merely to discuss the secretary and their visit to INEC. That's the only agenda.
Right.
Now, prior to that, that matter ought to have been discussed and agreed at the National Working Committee, which they said they held yesterday. And there were 9 members out of 16. Why I am saying it is illegal is because the quorum for NWC meeting is 2/3, and 2/3 of 16 is 10 plus. So if you have not formed a quorum and you take a position, that meeting in itself is already cancelled in the eyes of the law.
No,
so what you are bringing to NEC,
not also stand.
It does not also stand.
Yeah. Okay. Apart from the legality or otherwise of the meetings, we've seen what happened today, for instance. Very respected party members, including members of the BOT, were chased by security operatives, as they head towards the party secretariat.
Yes.
They had to relocate somewhere. But amidst all of this, I also understand there was a meeting going on between leaders of the BOT and leadership of the Governors Forum as well, which gave birth, to this reconciliation for the meeting to go on. What went behind closed door? Because the initial impression is that certain topical issues or, contentious issues will be discussed.
Yes.
Only for the acting national chairman to emerge and said they're going to discuss only one item in the agenda.
On the agenda, yes.
Lead us into the intricacies behind this meeting.
Well, you see, ordinarily, any time we are supposed to have NEC, there will be meeting of BOT, which is the first one, then followed by the caucus meeting,
Right.
then the NEC meeting.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, the BOT were chased away, and they said they were relocated to Eradua, and we have not heard from the BOT. There is no release whatsoever. I don't know whether they did right now, but so far before I came in, I've been asking whether there was a release from the BOT. No release.
But they addressed the press. I happened to be there. They talked about, they condemned the security action, operatives action. They also apologized for what they call the embarrassment at the party secretariat. And also did mention that they would join the meeting. I think basically that's what they said.
Okay, so that is perhaps what transpired. Now, coming to the governors' caucus meeting, the decision they took has now generated another problem within the party. Okay. Because the Southeast caucus walked out and said, unless their candidate, which they brought, is Okoye, is recognized, they are likely considering.
They've already issued that threat earlier.
Yes, so they will pursue their threat. Now, these are issues that are very serious, and very germane to party administration. Right. I think what we are having is a problem of leadership. The leadership is not carrying everybody along. The leadership is doing as it wants. And that is why we are having this type of problem. Otherwise, these are issues that we have mechanisms to resolve them.
Yes. Oh, if you talk about leadership, I'm beginning to feel that, you're referring to all the leaders across board, because initially it was about the chairmanship of the party, for instance. Party has been factionalized. Quite a number of NEC members, NWC members are with the other faction, the faction of the Makinde group and all of that. And then others are also with Wike, it's obvious, including the acting national chairman, many believe. Now, it has gone beyond that. They know that the PDP Governors Forum also appeared to be divided, which is very clear. Now, Governor Bala Mohammed, who happens to be the chairman of the Governors Forum, seems to be on the Wike side again. And now, the BOT, which is the conscience of the party, also seems to be polarized. Now, there was a meeting behind closed doors with the leaders of the BOT, including the chairman, Senator Dalpos Wabara, and the secretary, Ahmed Mohamed Makarpi, only for all of them to resolve that Senator Samuel Anyanwu should be returned. And that has been a position they've been kicking against earlier. So what does this say about the cohesion within the party?
You see, like I told you, when something is illegal, it is not proper for somebody to waste his time discussing on an illegality. However, because you have raised it for the purpose of the audience, you see, in politics there are a lot of strategies. And one of, by presumption, is that they want, since INEC insists that Anyanwu must sign before they will, then when he signs, and in the next meeting, all those issues will be discussed and resolved.
So in other words, his accommodation is only to legalize the next meeting?
Yes, perhaps. That is my own thinking.
Right.
And so if he signs the document fulfilling INEC's condition, and then at the next meeting, which the national chairman has said that this is not a proper meeting, that when they convene a proper meeting, which is to say that the proper meeting will discuss all these issues, including the national convention.
So returning Senator Samuel Anyanwu is a stopgap measure to...
Yes, if you have heard the national chairman, he said Senator Anyanwu is returning in acting capacity. Right. In acting capacity, that's what he said. Yes. Which means that he is still not the substantive. Yes, not the substantive secretary.
So, but do you think that the other faction, the Wike faction, would agree with this resolution? Because they are still the ones that hold the party to the jugular. For instance, if they don't agree with this, certainly the next meeting could not also hold.
Well, whatever it is, generally the idea of the Wike faction is to destroy the PDP and make it not vibrant, so that in 2027, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu will have a smooth sail. He has already confessed so. He has said he stands with Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in 2027, and he's going to support him. I don't know how somebody who will be in your own party telling you that he's supporting your opposition party. I don't know what anti-party is called.
But some will say this is a self-inflicting, if you like, injury, or rather a self-design crisis. Because if the party itself cannot checkmate the excesses of its members, then what remains of the party? If, for instance, one man is bigger than the party, shouldn't this be...
No, it's not. The last time I said this specifically, that one man is not bigger than the party. The problem we are having is the problem of leadership. And let me be more categorical, the leadership of the NWC. Now, the chairman holds a very key position within our constitution. One, the chairman is the chairman of NWC. The chairman is the chairman of NEC. The chairman is the chairman of...
He presided over today's meeting.
Yes.
Even though he did mention that the meeting will not hold, because the NWC has already agreed, that Samuel Anyawu should return.
Yeah.
So, but he eventually presided over the same meeting.
So now he is also the chairman of the National Convention. So once the chairman is wobbling and fumbling, then there is a problem. Now the chairman at some point will act as if he is in the interest of the party, and another time he will capitulate, to Wike's side and be acting on behalf of Wike. So that is why the party is not. There is nobody who can do anything without the express permission of the chairman. So if we have a weak chairman, then we have a headache because he's the head.
So what would be the next line of action? Because July 23rd, it's not so far. It's just a 1 month space, so to speak. What will happen in between? Because party loyalists and of course supporters are worried. They want to see an end to this crisis. Do you foresee a possibility of addressing these problems in the next NEC meeting?
Well, you see, our NEC is not so resolute enough to be able to take such far-reaching decisions.
Right.
They have so far demonstrated some level of, slim performance. We need a performance that the party is greater than any individual or group, and the whole country is looking up to PDP to provide the needed opposition. And so leaders must understand this and must also appreciate that they cannot be acting in their own self-interest. They should act in the overall interest of the party and their supporters.
Yeah. Okay, that is the hope, and we also hope that will happen in the next couple of days to come. Thank you very much, Umar Sani, for talking to us on Daily Politics. We also hope to have you, in the nearest future, because these issues are still evolving.
Of course, they are emerging.
Right. Thank you very much. We appreciate. So viewers will take a break here. Again, when we return, we'll continue with the conversation. The other side of the conversation, talking about the Peter Obi's resolve, to agree on a one-term presidential slot if given the chance. Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.